Hello, and welcome to the Hunter Sindragosa raid guide. Sindragosa is a bit of a tricky boss, as it's a relatively long fight, and the hardest part of the encounter is Phase 3, so getting experience on it will take longer than other boss fights. But with this guide, you should be able to minimize common mistakes made in Phase 1 and 2, while maximizing damage output to push you into Phase 3 quicker, and gaining experience on the hardest part of the fight faster. Like Ice Howl in the Northrend Beast encounter, this is one fight where you won't get yelled at for using Aspect of the Pact, provided you use it correctly. The first place you want to use it is during the Icy Grip. For this particular fight, I macro Aspect of the Pact with Disengage for this. It'll give your raid a little bit more time to run out and avoid getting one-shotted. During the Phase 2 transition is where you'll want to use Aspect of the Pact again, to give your raid members a bit more time to get in position with their Frost Tombs. Just be sure to turn it off just before or when the tombs hit. To help maximize your damage on the frost blocks, you'll notice that I drop Explosive Trap. With our setup, it's not a big boost, but if your guild uses a 3-2 setup, you should be able to get 3 or 4 blocks with one trap. You'll notice that I'm hovering over the tombs. I am doing this to view the health of the other tombs in case I need to switch over to them. Depending on which players get the frost tombs, you may have 5 DPS on one and none on another, and it's essential that they all go down at relatively the same speed. Coming out of the air phase and back into the ground phase, provided that there are not frost tombs still up, it's a good idea to misdirect the tank here, as you can't really DPS the boss until she is landed, and your tank won't be gaining threat as quickly as normal due to Sindragosa's Frost Breath, reducing their attack speed by 50% each time it's cast. Another ideal time to use your misdirect and not waste a global cooldown while DPSing is while you're running out of Sindragosa's Icy Grip. Because you're running out, you're probably not going to be attacking, so you can just misdirect while you're running. And just as Phase 2 begins, you want to call your pet back, because if you don't, it'll get out of range and you'll have to bring it back out again. If you're a target of one of the ice tombs in Phase 2, it's very important that you remove Aspect of the Pact before getting in the tomb, because you can't while you are. Ideally, you want to swap into Viper to regain mana. Also, while you're encased, you can have your pet attack the tomb. It might as well be doing something. And in case you didn't know, come Cataclysm, I'll be changing into a Worgen. But until then, the Frenzy Heart Brew is the closest thing I've got. Phase 3 begins at 35%. There are a couple ways of doing this phase, but the way our guild does it is to have an Ice Tomb dropped off at the head, which is the tank, DPS, and a couple of healers, LOS, for stacking debuff, and then the next one dropped off at a more central location where the other healers line of sight, and repeat. This particular mechanic is a bit gimped for hunters, as you cannot DPS while being in line of sight, as line of sight only occurs directly next to the tomb. So to deal with this, you want to shoot and scoot your way over to the tomb. Once you have 4 seconds on the debuff, you'll see another one of her mystic buffets go out, and it's safe to move back into your DPS spot. If you aren't mana starved during this phase, you can also use an explosive trap to put a little damage on the tomb. To maximize your DPS during this phase, as a marksmanship hunter, you never want to let Serpent Sting fall off Sindragosa, so you'll be throwing up at least every other Chimera shot onto Sindragosa in between DPSing the Frost Tombs. As a survival hunter, you want to keep Serpent Sting up on Sindragosa at all times, and always use Black Arrow on Sindragosa as opposed to the Frost Tombs. In addition, once Sindragosa drops to 20%, every time kill shot is up, use it on Sindragosa. If you're having trouble doing this, it's pretty easy to create a macro specifically designed for this fight to do just that. I'll include one in the guide notes. Well, good luck, and hopefully you enjoyed this guide, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe.